He says, in truth, it is not free here on earth. However, as we move forward, we intend to participate in the freeing of yourselves. Because life can get a bit heavy if you haven't noticed. So it's important to infuse and bring in the light. And I thought no better way than to bring in the elves or elf type energy. And no, I don't mean the type of elves that come and visit you with Santa Claus. So this is the type of elf energy that resides in the woods, that comes to visit you, that is connected with nature. The only time that they came to visit me was during a stressful time in my life. And they basically came to visit me to kind of put me in my place, essentially, to have a word with me, to have me think about things differently and stop exasperating what was unfolding in my life at that time. So they're very straight shooters, okay? They're very direct, and they come in very direct too. Why would the elves even bother coming to visit you, right? Like, why would the elves come? Why are they coming to you? Because they're not coming to you to braid your hair and knit, all right? They're coming to you for a reason. All right, so when we're looking at the elves and why they're coming to visit you, what is the reasoning as to why they're around you? And the answer to that is because we have something to say, and we want you to hear it, and we want you to listen. We're not the fluffy type of elves that you see on TV during Christmas time. Okay, so these aren't the elves at Christmas time. These are the elves, or the elf-like energy, and we call them elves, so they go along with that title. But they've been here long before we were here on Earth. So long before humans, long before even pre-humans, they have been here on Earth. So first of all, how do we know when the elves are even around us, and what does their energy even feel like? Okay, so how do you even know they're around? Okay, so I can tell you from my own experience, and then I'm going to listen in. But they came in hot and heavy. They came to talk with me while I was going for a walk through the forest. And they came in on my right side, and they flank you. So they come in parallel to you. So you'll be walking and they'll be right beside you. And then I was hearing very loudly the Lord of the Rings music when they were attempting to breach the walls. And it was really intense, and it was right beside me. It's like full throttle. Their energy feels like as if you're communing or conversing with an elf. Okay, it's very connected with nature. It's very connected with the forest. It's very connected with trees, but it just slices through any BS that you got going on in your life. So at that time when they came to visit me, I had a lot of BS happening in my life, and it was very trivial stuff. So they just wanted to remind me to stop thinking about it and stop being a part of it. And the third part was, this isn't going to last very long in your life, so why are you here dancing around and entertaining these kinds of thoughts about these people? And then that was that. I just followed their lead and I let go, and I didn't bother thinking about it or complaining about it any longer. Okay, so how do you make people feel when you decide that you want to come and converse with them? Edgy, direct, quick, intense, moving in quick, parallel, side by side. Um, okay. They're also saying that they'll play some type of music that pertains to a TV show or a movie where we would associate elves. Okay. So it'll be like Lord of the Rings, maybe The Hobbit, anything like that. And if you start to hear that in your mind while some intense energy is coming in and flanking you and walking with you and not leaving your side, you know who's beside you. Okay. They enjoy parading in a procession lined up. They enjoy making an entrance. That's for sure. Okay. Don't be fooled. They mean business and they will not shy away from being very direct with you. And so you will notice their energy is very direct. They'll be gliding alongside of you, parallel to you, conversing with you. That is after their entrance. So they make a big entrance and then they glide along with you. And the imagery I get with them is they have white or very bright blonde hair, but not always. And I also see them with really intense eyes. And I do see like pointy tipped ears. That's how they present to me. Likely because that's the imagery I'm accustomed to when I'm watching TV or I'm watching movies. Is that why you're presenting that way? Yeah. I'm getting that presentation is like or similar to what their appearance is. Okay. And those who have been, and we'll get to this, but those like Tolkien, for example, who made that whole magical world and the imagery of it, he's actually channeling, from what I'm getting here, he's actually channeling what they actually do look like. So that's pretty cool. So that is very accurate. All right. Okay. And are there male or female, or is that just not something of, because that's an earth type, human type mentality or mindset of things. So is that accurate? Predominantly masculine energy is presented when we visit. If there is an energy that is choosing to present or wants to present more feminine, that energy is presenting more masculine as well. So would you go as far as saying male, female? He's saying, sure, if you'd like to hear that. You get how they are? So there we have it. Maybe not all things are true from the movies. All right. So where do the elves reside? Where can we find them? And the answer to that is in the forests, mainly in the forest and in nature. Okay. So it's not that they won't come to you or be there outside the forest, but the main targeted areas is when you go for a walk in the woods. They are connected and energetically tied to the trees and the earth. And then I said, why are you here on earth? Because we are here to protect the trees and the earth from harm. And then I said, how long have you been here? And they said very shortly after earth was created. So if we looked at linear time, which I doubt that they are looking at linear time, but we are, a short time being hundreds of millions of years after Earth was created. Okay. And he ties it to the moment that nature blossomed, trees grew. That's when they came in. We were some of the first inhabitants of Earth. That's how long they've been here for. So you can see why they don't take much BS. They've been here a long time, long before we ever were here, long before our souls were incarnating here, or even incarnating in vessels, long before we would even call the vessels humans, right? Okay, we enjoy, this is the other part I got. We enjoy the movies made in our honor or about us through your eyes, your perspective. And then we go to Tolkien. And connected to our, Tolkien was connected to our energy early on in his childhood, and we stayed connected through his lifetime. And then also we have also been intermittently connected to Peter Jackson over the years as well. So how fascinating is that? So these souls incarnate here, and then they're very much connected in with this energy that's always been here. Next thing you know, these kinds of movies are being produced and made, and then they say, in their honor. So was Tolkien always meant to make movies with you in mind, and then presented? And I shouldn't say movies, okay? It's Peter Jackson that made the movies, but writing the books and the writing material pertaining to elves and so much more. But yes, it was agreed upon long before Tolkien arrived here. Yes. How cool is that? The purpose in Tolkien writing this material was to bring you along with him into an imaginary space. Is it that imaginary? So there's parts of it that are imaginary and other parts that are very much here and very much real. It's just that we may not see with our physical eyes, but we can certainly sense and feel the energy of the elves anytime we wish. And then he's talking about some of our souls stepping forward and trying on this energy of being an elf in certain incarnations off Earth. Okay. And that is accurate. I don't see it very often. I would say out of the close to 4,000 readings that I've had now, I would say I've only seen it 2 or 3 times. So it's not often where I'm looking at the incarnations previously, and I'm seeing elves, and I'm seeing in the forest, and it's pretty wild to see something like that. And I'm like, what? So there are other locations where our soul is choosing to have a similar or like experience as these elves are here on Earth. But the frequency here on Earth is heavier. So these elves here are telling me that they have to be more punchy, more direct to get through to us, to make change, to affect change. The movies made by Peter Jackson really highlighted the light and the dark aspects here on Earth, Middle Earth. I get winky in there. Okay. Middle Earth being Earth. So it's fantasy mixed with reality, isn't it? And the journey has just begun to usher in, to bring in the light. It has just begun. For there are many days and many experiences ahead in which we will face the darker aspects coming to the surface and trying to have their way and run amok here. And you holding your light and facing these obstacles, if you want to call them these, is very important. Holding your light, banding together, coming together, not accepting, not tolerating the poor decision making and the poor behaviors of those with whom you call in charge, in power. It's up to you. It's in your hands. He's talking about submitting, and it's really important that we do not submit, but rather band together and work together for the greater good of the whole, to not be controlled by and told what to do and how to do it, and to be used or taken advantage of. And now he says, and that's why we're here, you see. He has his hands out like this. And this is why we are here. To help bring in the light, to help usher in more light, and to help you band together and help build the strength within you that will be needed and necessary for the many generations ahead. And he's talking about the light versus the dark path ahead. So both paths lead to the light, you see, he says. So even if we take more of a darker or heavier path, inevitably this path will lead to the light. And he's also saying that it's just a choice now which direction we go, whether we have a path where we work together and bringing back the lighter aspects here on earth, peace, nurturing one another, taking care of one another, making sure no one goes hungry, making sure that everyone has shelter, and it more peaceful, more caring, more loving, more safe on the streets, and we all band together and work together, and there's more of a being free on earth. This path, he's saying, is really weighing in as being more likely at this point. However, there is our free will to stand up against this path if we so choose. And this path is a path where I'm getting digital currency, I'm getting control of our bank accounts, being told what to do, controlled. And this path is not a free path. And the control will be layered. There's only one more nail to nail in the coffin. And so once everything, if they get the digital currency on board, or if they get us all onto a digital type system, banking system, then we're all locked in. And he says, why do you think that they don't care that they're in such debt? Because the debt won't matter once it's all reset. Okay. And then there'll be layers. But even if this path produces, it will still lead to the light, inevitably. It's just how many of us will fight back to create freedom for ourselves and to live a free life. Okay. He says, in truth, it is not free here on earth. However, as we move forward, we intend to participate in the freeing of yourselves and to work diligently until this time comes or arrives. And he's also saying that he's aware that, to work together as a collective, there will be a give and a take, okay? It's going to be a push-pull situation. But the goal is to have more freedom here and less operating from money, greed, ego, control, power. he says that it's there's some divine masculine energy here, and it's having its last thralls. And he takes it very lightly, like he's not taking it, he's like, it's having its last thralls. And when he says, when we introduce more divine feminine energy, it's working together, supporting each other, caring, nurturing, communication. He's using these words, okay? So that's what's being ushered in. All right. So big changes ahead. I keep hearing the angels say, this is it. This is going to be it. This is the last. Cherish these moments. And I'm like, and I remember, when all of that happened in the past with COVID and the borders were shutting down and all that. And it was so, like, to me, way outstretched. And all I could hear from my guardian angel was, welcome to the new earth. So the new earth isn't all puppies and unicorns and rainbows. Yes, we are ushering in the light. Yes, there is a lot more coming, but the dark is also in throes and acting up and controlling. So the other part of it, I'm going to channel tomorrow morning when we talk about the eclipse coming in April 8th. And I'm going to be talking about the eclipse coming and what we can expect, and also what is already happening. Okay. And that will be coming from source frequency, God, light and love, universal oneness, however, which way you want to call it. Do you feel good when people listen to you and take your advice and follow through with it? It's up to us. We simply are here as a support. Our priorities are maintaining the equilibrium, the balance of nature. You see, because if it becomes out of balance, then we are all in trouble here on earth, and it's becoming out of balance at this point. So that's what they're mainly focused upon. Whether we hear their guidance and what we do with it is in our hands. They'd like to see some improvements, if we want to say it that way, within ourselves. However, it's in our hands and it's up to us, because this is a free will zone here on earth. So this is a free will zone. So it's up to us. It's not up to them to ensure that we take, they call it the righteous path, which sounds kind of biblical, but what it is the right path, the path that's in alignment with our highest and best good, and the good of all. Okay, so you're shown a lot of the elves and fairies leaving through a portal to the fifth dimension. He says that they're already in the fifth dimension. So we're just conversing with them while they're in this dimension. Are you leaving? Are some of you leaving? The way that you're seeing it is not interpreted as leaving. It is moving into higher dimensional frequency to best help us. So more are elevating into a higher frequency in order to assist us here on earth. So it's not leaving, it's moving in elevation. And when they rise into a higher vibrational frequency, it's better suited to assist us here on earth and to help us lift and raise in frequency as well. That's how I'm seeing it, which makes sense. No one's leaving. If anything, what I see is more light bombarding the earth. How many of you have experienced this over the last few days? Your chakras opening, heart palps, nausea, head pressure, lack of sleep, overheating, getting a little bit dizzy and woozy. Okay, that's the light bombarding your frequency. Why is it doing that? So that's a little bit of what we're going to talk about tomorrow morning, along with this eclipse. Can people just call you in to come along and talk with them and them talk with you in the forest? Anytime. Preferred. Anytime. Preferred. You can see the way they speak, right? It's different. Do you like it when people offer you a gift? The only gift they request is if you so choose to listen to their guidance, which in turn will help to elevate and lift your energy upward. That's their gift. That's the gift that they are enjoying and wish to see, because it doesn't just impact us here, it also impacts the collective. So as we lift and raise in frequency, it impacts everyone's energy, and as a whole is of great benefit to all. Is there anything that you would prefer that we plant in nature? All I see is trees. Any type of tree. Oh, he just put this in my head. You know how we are planting our loved ones into the ground with trees? That's the latest thing. So instead of just cremating or burying, we are planting our loved ones with a tree. They love that. He's telling me that. And he's giving me that full imagery of that. It's pretty wild what we're up to these days, but they love that. And to think that we use our vessel in order to feed and propagate new life on earth, they love that aspect of it. He's so elated with that. They're very happy with that. So that's one thing that they really love. Yeah. So if you get too nauseous, too many heart palps, too much anxiety, overheating, can't sleep, headache, head pressure, lightheadedness, dizziness, okay, you're getting bombarded by the light. And if it's too much, you need to ask it to step back a bit. And if it doesn't step back, you might need to lay down. Or you can negotiate and say, right now I'm driving a car, but later on this afternoon I'm going to lay in bed and I'm going to just relax. Can you work on me then? As we are beings of light and love, it's important to focus on the light. Be aware of what's going on around you, but don't allow it to consume you. If you're focusing on the heavier, darker aspects of what is unfolding on a regular basis or too much, you will notice it also drops your frequency. So be aware, make decisions and choices, action steps that serve you and your very highlighted free will, your freedom, okay? Do not delay, do not delay, do not delay. Thank you, dear ones. We are the elves.